Hey Phantomaniacs, welcome to another Needless Unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at Duke from the G.I. Joe Classified series. Duke is number 4 in this new series of G.I. Joe figures. I skipped over number 2 because that is Snake Eyes, and I haven't found the single carded version for regular retail price yet. And I've already got the exclusive one that they released, so I didn't see any need to put, to pay extra for any of these really, because I've gotten every single one of these that I've reviewed for regular retail price online. One from BigBadToyStore.com and the rest from Amazon. I just got lucky and hit them at the right time. But today we're taking a look at Duke. We noticed that he's got a different style of card art, as all of these figures do. It's really more of a classic, almost 80s comic look to the art, while it's obviously this updated look for Duke. But I like that they're giving lots of artists the opportunity to get in on this new G.I. Joe franchise that is presumably going to last for a very long time and possibly has more than just this classified series in the works. There are rumors already of a retro line on the way. More details on that on the Needless Things podcast as they become available. We can see on the side right here, Duke punching somebody right in the mush. Looks like Cobra Commander right there, as a matter of fact. And then up top, Duke ready for action, perhaps stealthily hiding in the shadows, waiting for his opportunity to attack the evil Cobras. We looked at the number 4 over here, and then we also want to take a look on the side. We have, again, these symbols that sort of sum up Duke as a character, because as we've seen in the other reviews, which you can find right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, no bios, no file cards, no nothing, but we do instead, each character has these symbols that say who they are. And apparently a watcher, a subscriber, a YouTube. I'm used to talking about listeners. So, but on YouTube, somebody mentioned that if you go to gijoe.hasbro.com under the character section, you can find out exactly what all of these mean and get that bio, which I had speculated in an earlier video was probably going to be the case, is that they would use, the online modern capabilities to provide the file cards as opposed to just having them in cardboard, because the back of these all have this same absolutely gorgeous artwork. I love this. You can watch the last 2 videos in the series to get some more thoughts on this art and what's actually in here. But I really dig this. I like it. And again, large box, no hang tab. So this is a product meant for shelves, perhaps to take the place of the playsets and vehicles that really aren't as common as they used to be. So we've been through the box. If you want to hear about that, go watch the other 2 videos that are up right now, which is Roadblock and Destro. But let's go ahead and pull out the trusty 1964 box cutter and open Duke up and see how this new figure measures up to one of the most awesome G.I. Joe characters. So here's that piece of trash that Hasbro feels the need to include in every box now. I'd rather have a file card, but I'm sure that's not really what the conversation is. We've got Duke here in the interior tray. Let's pull out these accessories. What is this tiny little bit of business? There's something we'll have to figure out. And then a nice pistol taped down. I hate tape on my accessories. But I guess it's better than accessories just clanking around in the box. All right, let's get all that out of the way and take a look at the tough guy, the leader of the Joes. Or perhaps not, because as you can see on gijoe.hasbro.com, Hawk is in the wings, so to speak. Pun not intended, but we'll go with it. And by the way, you can hear a full review of the newly launched gijoe.hasbro.com on the 0 episode of the Audible Interlude podcast, an all-new G.I. Joe podcast launching as part of the Needless Things family. That'll be out on June 29th. You can get it wherever you find your podcasts. That's Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. Okay, so Duke is perhaps the most... Well, I don't know. Destro probably looks even closer to his original design, but Duke has really captured the spirit of that original figure. We have, I would say, probably for people who are being super picky about this line, or who wanted just 6-inch versions of the original characters, I would imagine that the shin guards and the knee pads are going to be the point of contention there, but I like them. In person, this gold coloring is much more subdued than what it looked like in some of the original shots, so I'm good with it. I think it provides a nice sort of common theme for all of the Joes. Man, that ankle does not want to move. I don't want to tear Duke's ankle off right here live on YouTube, or I guess recorded on YouTube. There we go. Okay, you can hear that. Maybe, let's see if I can get the mic close enough. There's a ratcheting joint in that ankle. Pretty nice. I love how we've gotten to the point now where ratcheting double joints are the standard. And what I love even more is Hasbro is really, really, like with this line, they are taking their articulation to the next level because, as you can see, I'm moving Duke's belt out of the way so you can see no more waist swivel. I absolutely hate a cut joint at the waist because you turn it and you get that terrible, just flat shape sticking out there. It's the worst. And we should be beyond that. And now, with this G.I. Joe classified line, Hasbro is showing that they are beyond that. We've also got a little drop-down action in the hip there. Not a ton, but a little degree extra movement. Got swivels at the tops of the thighs. That double-jointed knee is great. The abdominal crunch, which blends in pretty nicely with the sculpt. And then the butterfly joints at the shoulders that all of these figures have had so far. And then that ratcheting double joint at the elbow. Just the articulation on these is fantastic. It's almost, honestly, to the level of Japanese figures at this point. I've been really, really impressed with these. But then beyond that, we've got to take a look at the sculpt and the paint on these. Look at this face on this guy. What a tough, cool-looking dude. He's got a scar right up here. I love the inclusion of the scar. Now, as to why it's not in the traditional spot that a G.I. Joe would have, I don't care. The scar is a nice touch. It's a nice little piece of detailing there that I think adds a lot to his character. Look at this haircut. Nice military stubble on the side. Even got a little deco with some transition from hair to a little lighter stubble going down at the bottom here. It's all sculpted. Nice paint detail. And then on the top, we've got the little comb over. Almost like a John Cena cut going on with this guy. As a matter of fact, he even... maybe slightly a little bit resembles John Cena. A tad, a bit. Not a lot, a little. Right here and right down here, we notice another thing that unites all of these new figures, and that's this light blue sort of energy color. Because if you notice on the package art, this part tends to have a glow attributed to it. We'll see if that plays out in the story or not. But again, it's just a cool little thing for me that unifies the look of these figures. Right here, he's got his little metal, little paint hit on it. Maybe not entirely successful, but looks good. It's fine. Got the red epaulets. I like the green detail at the top of the shirt here. And then I really like this detail, the white undershirt. It's just, that could have been just more skin. But I think it's cool that not only is it a white undershirt, but it's actually got stitching sculpted at the top there. Look at that. That's wild. Nice. I don't know, somehow the fact that he's got this white undershirt on adds a little bit to his character for me. And then you'll notice the neck joint, two points of articulation here at the base of the neck and at the top. So lots of good. If this was Superman, he could fly. So somebody making Superman figures, let's get on a neck joint like this, huh? I like the gloves, very similar to the ones Roadblock has, although you can see got a little knuckle duster action going on right there. I like that. Lots of painted detail, sculpted seams. Very cool. The red watch got some sloppy paint going on here. I'm a little surprised at this. As nice as everything else on these figures have been, I'm surprised to see that skin leaking onto the watch, and then the watch leaking onto the skin up here a little bit. I'm a little surprised that slipped by QC. As nice as everything else has been with these figures, I don't know about that. I've got one elbow pad going on here. I guess, you know, he's got that one elbow that needs a little more support and protection than the other elbow. And then over here, got an interesting. See, you get a little more paint issue over here. This, I gotta say, the previous two figures were really, really tight with their paint apps. Duke is a little sloppy. And I'm wondering if maybe we might see a running change at some point to correct some of these, because this is, we've seen better than this from everything else in this line so far. I've got a little peg hole back here for one of his little accessories. All of the figures have had a backpack peg hole, although not all of them have had backpacks. So let's take a look now at these accessories and see what we've got going on. The backpack, very reminiscent of the original Duke backpack. Got a couple of canteens on there. We've got the collapsing shovel. Looks good. I like it. It's cool. And hopefully our design accounts for his bandolier, which is a separate piece, by the way. Very nice detail up here, whatever this business is. And then we've got a little buckle painted on here. Looks nice. And this could come off if you wanted it to, but that bandolier is a signature of Duke, so we're going to leave it on. This could have been, I'm going to be honest, this could have been designed a little bit better. There could have been a slot in the backpack for that bandolier to run through, so it didn't stick out in that way. I don't love this. I'm very surprised, because this looked to be one of the most faithful figures of these first few, and I'm finding some disappointment here. Yeah, that backpack is going to have trouble staying in if we leave the bandolier on. I'm just going to set it to the side for now. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got this little doodad that is... I have no idea what this is supposed to be. Oh, you know what? That's Binoculars. Very nice. I'm not going to go through the trouble of trying to get him to hold them. But you can see a little binocular action going on there. Pretty cool. I like it. And they plug into the back of the belt, which I will say is kind of neat. I'm okay with that being a departure, because the original Duke... well, okay, wait. Am I thinking right? Did the original Duke have full binoculars that just went around his neck? I feel like that's correct. So I would much rather have these that store away easily on the belt than some big neck piece hanging off of this guy. It's got the pistol that goes into this thigh holster that's a separately sculpted piece. Slides right in there. Fits nicely. And lots of cool detail on that. I like this paint. Makes all the difference in the world on this gun. If this was just this flat gray, you know, it'd be a cool looking pistol, but how exciting would it be really to look at? So this one paint hit right up here makes all the difference in the world, which is one of the complaints I had about the Deluxe Snake Eyes, is it's just a bunch of unpainted weapons and it looks cheap. This looks cool. And then this rifle looks even cooler because it's got the nice gold, again, that unifying color. that's more subdued in person than it is, honestly, even at this video. I'm looking at the screen right now, and this gold looks a lot brighter on my screen than it does in person. And then these blue highlights that, again, may be some kind of plot point to the new story of G.I. Joe, whatever this blue energy signifies. Or maybe it's something as simple as they're not going to depict bullets in this thing, and these are the, it's showing that these are laser weapons in the way that the old 80s, Joe cartoons are. Because from what I understand, there is a license to produce Nerf-style guns and role-play props. So they're going to want to have things like this that make these look not real. So, rifle fits very nicely. Like, honestly, I didn't even have to make that happen before I was comfortable saying it, because they've done a really good job with the weapons so far. I've got a cool double grip on there. Looks good. Ready for action. I dig it. And then that pistol, I'm going to assume will fit in either hand, because both of the hands are posed with trigger fingers. So we've got a nice pistol, great rifle, and a backpack that is going to take some work to figure out, because it does not want to stay on there. Right now, though, we're going to take a second to look at Duke compared to some other current 6-inch scale action figures. So as you can see, these line up pretty well with Marvel Legends, either style, and even could work okay with the Fortnite figures, which is one of the first things people said about these is, oh, they look like Fortnite characters. And you know what? To me, that's not a bad thing. It makes sense. Lots of loosey pieces on this guy, which, I would rather these be separately sculpted and look the way that they look, have this sort of heft, and add to the profile in the way that they do, than just be sculpted on. I prefer that. There are a few things I don't love about this Duke, mostly these messy paint apps that we came across, but as far as the look of the character, the update of the design, I think they've done a wonderful job. I'm happy to have him leading my Joes, and I can't wait to put him on the shelf with the rest of the Classified series, because they are starting to really, really look good together and present a great toy shelf and a wonderful update of G.I. Joe. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. And remember to check out the Needless Things podcast each and every Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.